Masaya po ako na nandito. Sabi kanina ni Sir Terence, pang-10 na yata niya na pumunta dito. Pero ang bilang ko mga 4 lang po. 4 lang. I mostly help before in an area formation in Naik, Cavite for the youth. But I'm happy today and I'm very glad to be with you, fellow co-workers, leaders, and friends who share the same desire to grow, not just professionally, but personally and spiritually. We gather on this Culture Day to reflect on a value that I believe has kept our people, your company, your families strong through many challenges. We refer to this value today as striving in all things. Alam nyo, tingin ko malapit sa puso ng mga Filipino ang striving in all things. This is because we build our vision and cultural beliefs on this foundational value. How can we affirm that? Let's just look at our cultural wisdom. The practical yet poetic insights that our parents tell us through our Filipino salawikain. Natatandaan niyo pa ba yung mga Filipino salawikain na natutunan natin nung tayo nag-aaral at sinasabi ng mga magulang natin? Can you complete the following salawikain as we try to remember a few of them? So I'll flash a part of the salawikain. Pagkatapos, kukumpletuhin nyo, sabihin nyo na malakas yung katuloy. Ready na ba tayo? Okay? Sige. Sabi natin, kung may tiyaga, bakit hindi sinigang ano? Pag may hirap, may ginhawa. Uy, very good. Habang may buhay, may pag-asa. Kapag may itinanim, kung ayaw, may dahilan. Kung gusto, may paraan. At marami pang iba. But what kind of value or values can we draw from these expressions? These sayings speak of striving. There is no one Filipino word that can capture its depth and its entirety. But we use words like pagtitiyaga, pagpupunyagi, at pagsusumikap. This morning, we will endeavor to go deeper. We will try to unpack the theme of striving and gaze at its expressions by journeying through the rich sources of our faith and wisdom. We will go through our daily experiences, scripture texts, church teachings, and Ignatian spirituality. Okay, let's begin. Let's begin by reflecting on the daily experiences of most of us. Each morning, many of us, especially those who still have little kids who go to school, wake up before dawn. Maaga tayong gumigising. If you're comfortable, can you tell your seatmate what time do you set your alarm for the morning? Kung komportable lang kayong i-share, anong oras nakaset yung mga alarm clock ninyo? Sino kaya yung pinakamaaga? Hindi ako sigurado, no? Ako maaga. 4:00. Okay? So, alarm clock set. You rise even sometimes. Ang saya magkwentuhan na ng alarm clock pa lang. Mamaya may kwentuhan pa tayo. Sige. Okay, thank you for sharing. But you rise up very early in the morning. Even if you have body aches, you push yourselves out of the bed. Even when times, your body, your katawang lupa would say, teka, 5 to 10 minutes pa. Idlip ka muna saglit. But still, you choose to move forward. You get out of the bed and embrace the responsibilities of this new day with a quiet determination. And you say to yourself, kaya ko to. And let's be honest, sometimes the only thing that gets us up in the morning is the fear of being late and meeting your boss on the way who will ask you, oh, ba't kayong ka lang? And we don't want to be late, right? because we believe that being late does not reflect the good qualities we want to demonstrate as workers in our company. In the morning, you prepare your meal. Yung iba nga, sa daan na kumakain. You fix your clothes and bag. Your mind runs through schedules while your hands work swiftly. You already feel the rush and fatigue kahit nasa bahay ka pa lang. Yet, these small unseen acts of care for work are driven not just by duty, but by your love and commitment to those who depend on you. Kailangan kasi magtrabaho eh. Kailangan to para sa pamilya. Kailangan magtrabaho para suportahan yung aming institusyon, yung aming kumpanya. Pagpasok sa trabaho, many of us endure a long commute. Sino dito ang nagko-commute to work? Taas ang kamay. Ayan. Whether on a crowded jeepney, bus, train, or motorcycle rides, o kahit nakakotse ka, naiipit ka sa traffic. Along the way, you are already thinking, what are my deadlines today? Who are the people I need to meet? Yet amidst these worries, there is a resolve within you that whispers, I will get through this day. Minsan kinakanta mo pa yung lyrics ng I will survive. Then, arriving at the workplace, you step into the building, tap your ID, greet the guards and your colleagues with a warm smile, whether genuine or sometimes forced. You choose to smile because you know that it's the right thing to do. You set aside your personal worries for a while to relate well with others. Then, you take the elevator para sa mga umaakyat ng building, no? In that quiet journey upward, you stand silent, eyes fixed on the changing numbers. Some of you are already reviewing their task mentally. Hindi ko alam yung iba, baka umiidli pa sa elevator. Others may be praying silently. Minsan, ganito, may nakasabay ako sa elevator, no? Narinig ko yung dasal niya. Sabi niya, Lord, sana huwag tumigil at bumukas yung elevator bawat floor. Kasi late na ako. And still, yung iba, they just pause to simply breathe before the business begins. And then, arriving at your work or your station, especially if you really do hardcore office work, you sit down, turn on your computer. Minsan yung iba would spend 3 to 5 minutes pretending to be busy already. Pero ang totoo, bumibuelo lang. Pag tinanong ng boss mo, ready ka na ba? Wait lang boss, binubuksan pa po yung computer, loading pa po, loading pa. Pero ang totoo, you're preparing yourself for that day of committed work. What does striving mean here in that human experience that we have? Striving here means the silent courage you have, the silent courage that you have to get up every morning. It is the effort you weave into your preparations as you leave for work. It is your endurance, day after day, after day, after day. Endurance to go through long commutes and yet arrive at work with warmth and charm. It is the choice you take with persistence to show up fully and commit to the responsibilities that await you. Striving means giving your best, not only in the big goals, but also in the small and particular moments of daily life. There is an important corporate value that you have that captures this kind of striving. It is written by Sir Jun for the company. This is the value of tenacity that you will explore more later. Pero basahin ko lang, no? Tenacity is our choice to be firmly resolute with perseverance and precision, to have and hold our aspirations to achievement constantly. This tenacity is manifested in striving in things that we do with courage and consistency that makes our work meaningful and our lives deeply human. Alam nyo, the human story of striving is something that God Himself has shared with us. In becoming human, nung nagkatawang tao, naging tao ang Diyos sa pamamagitan ni Jesus. God revealed to us the deeper meaning and purpose behind this ability to strive, to work hard, and to pursue our goals. Tingnan natin paano nakibahagi yung Diyos sa pagsusumikap natin araw-araw. A conciliar document from Vatican II. You don't need to memorize this, no? Yung Vatican II document. But it's entitled Gaudium et Spes. No? This document beautifully reminds us that through Jesus, we understand what striving is all about. Sabi ng Vatican II document, Jesus, though He is God, worked with human hands, thought with the human mind, and loved with the human heart. That's from paragraph 22 of Gaudium et Spes. He became truly like us in all things. Lahat nung naranasan natin, naranasan niya. Kasi tao siya. Bagamat Diyos siya. Except sin. In Jesus, we see that the human daily striving is not just about survival or success. Maganda yun, yung survival. Maganda yung success. Parang yung sinasabi ng mga text kanina ni St. Paul, no? Parang success, reward. Maganda yung mga yon, but it's more than that. Striving is part of a sacred calling to live fully and to reflect God's image in everything we do. Where can we see the act of striving in the life of our Lord Jesus Christ? Alam nyo, like all of us here, Jesus worked and strived to fulfill His daily tasks. He may not have an alarm clock like what we have today, na gumigising sa Kanya, but every day He needed to wake up very early before anyone else because He needed to pray. As it says in the Gospel of Mark, in the morning, while it was still very dark, He got up and went out to a deserted place, and there He prayed. Prayer was His first task of the day. Siguro nung panahon ni Jesus, wala pang global warming, ang lamig pa ng panahon. Siguro masarap matulog nun eh. Tapos pagod siya araw-araw, makikita natin mamaya, no? Parang ang sarap matulog, pero He strived to wake up early every day and do His first task, and that is none other than to pray. During His public ministry, Jesus may not have endured traffic jams or packed trains. But several times in His ministry, kung hindi man araw-araw niyang ginagawa yun, no, He walked long distances, traveling from town to town to reach out to people and bring them God's good news. Sabi ng Gospels, Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom, and curing every disease and every sickness. Imagine the dust of His feet, malikabok. The heat of the sun, wala pa sigurong lotion nun. And the tiredness in His legs after each journey. Kung ako siguro yon, at dahil hindi na ako sanay maglakad, lalo na pag mainit, ang dami ko ng reklamo. Yet, Jesus kept walking because He knew people needed to hear about God's love. Like us, Jesus also found it challenging to relate with people. Nahirapan din siyang makitungo sa mga katrabaho niya at mga taong pinaglilingkuran. There were times His disciples did not understand Him at all. Once He said to them, "You faithless generation, how much longer must I be with you? How much longer must I put up with you?" There were many moments when people walked away from him because they thought His teachings were too difficult. As John writes, many of His disciples turned back and no longer went about with Him. At the crucial moment of His ministry, at familiar kayo dito kasi bawat mahal na araw, lagi natin naririnig yung kwento ng passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus, no? When Jesus became the target of hatred and violence, His closest friends deserted Him. Mark tells us simply, all of them deserted Him and fled. Naalala niyo yung kwento about Peter, one of his most trusted friends? Peter was asked if he knew Jesus. What did he do? He began to curse, and he swore an oath, "I do not know this man you are talking about." Can you imagine the pain of being abandoned by the very people you loved and served in the middle of your life's work? Marami sa atin pag ganyan, baka sabihin na lang, give up na lang ako, resign. Yet, despite all these challenges in His mission for the kingdom of God, what does Jesus show us in the Gospels? There are many lessons, but one shines clearly today. Jesus shows us the power of human striving. We have been given by God a human ability to not give up. And Jesus further reveals that this God-given capacity within us to keep going, to remain faithful to our mission despite exhaustion, challenges, rejection, and pain, has a purpose. And what is that purpose? Let us now go to the sacred scene in the Garden of Gethsemane where Jesus prayed. And I think you are also very familiar to this text. On the night He was betrayed, Jesus prayed to God the Father. He said, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not my will, but yours be done." Here, we see a profound purpose of striving. Striving is not about never feeling fear or pain. It's not about being unbreakable or invincible at all times. Rather, striving means having the courage to keep going despite fear, pain, and uncertainty. It is the attitude that acknowledges our difficulties. Mahirap talaga. Yet, chooses to continue with what we are called to do. In the Gospels, Jesus shows us that our striving is not simply for ourselves, not my will, but yours be done. Striving is for God's will and glory. Every effort that Jesus gave in His daily work, every sacrifices He made as He reached out to people, every morning He woke up to pray, every long journey He walked, all of these strivings had a purpose to fulfill God's will and bring God's love to others. Dito po sa Joy Nostalgia, maaring hindi nyo ginagawa yung eksaktong mga ginagawa ni Jesus. But you are also called by God to use your work, no matter how big or small, to serve a greater purpose. Every task you complete, every challenge you endure, every struggle you offer becomes meaningful when you unite them and offer them for God's will and glory. Your daily striving, pagsusumikap, pagtsatsaga, pagpupunyagi, becomes an act of love and faith. Meron po kaming motto sa Ateneo de Manila University inspired by St. Ignatius of Loyola, Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam. Mga estudyante namin, minsan sinusulat pa yan sa itaas ng mga exam papers nila. As if pag may AMDG sa taas, papasa sila. Parang anting-anting. But, yeah, for the greater glory of God. How is this connected with human striving? Human striving is intended for the greater glory of God. We choose to rise every morning, to endure, to work, and to love with the hope that in everything we do, God is honored. God is revealed to the world. Striving as seen in the life of Jesus is enduring pain not for the sake of suffering. Tandaan natin, mahalaga to Hindi tayo nagtsatsaga, ini-endure natin, tinatsaga natin yung hirap for the sake na maghirap tayo. It's not about embracing struggles just for the sake of struggling. Hindi tayo gumigising ng maaga, nagtitiis sa traffic at nagtatrabaho ng mabuti para lang tiisin lahat ng mga ito. Rather, we are striving to do what God desires, despite the difficulties and challenges we face. We endure and we persevere because we want to serve. Kahit yung direktang pinaglilingkuran natin ay mga tao, our co-workers, our bosses, clients, family, and friends, ultimately, it is God whom we serve when we offer and direct all our sacrifices, hard work, and commitment towards the good. In other words, striving in all things is not just a form of endurance, perseverance, or constancy. If we reflect deeply, striving in all things is also a form of generosity. Why? Because it is a form of giving ourselves as a gift to others. For what purpose? To do God's will and for the greater glory of God. This is why the prayer of generosity is relevant here. It is a prayer attributed to Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Kanina naririnig ko yung Filipino version, kakantahin nyo sa misa, no? I hope when you sing that later in the Mass, maalala nyo yung points of reflection natin in this particular talk. The prayer of generosity expresses what striving means. And for what? It's not suffering simply for suffering's sake, but commitment to give oneself for the glory of God in deep generosity. The prayer says, Dearest Lord, teach me to be generous. Teach me to serve you as you deserve. To give and not to count the cost. To fight and not to heed the wounds. To toil and not to seek for rest. To labor and not to ask for reward. Save that of knowing that I am doing your will. Now let us bring these insights back to our work. This understanding about striving with courage, faith, and generosity in all things for the greater glory of God reminds us that our daily work is never just about earning or surviving or winning. Mahalaga yung mga yon, yung surviving, winning, earning. Mahalaga yung mga yon. But it's not only about that. It's much deeper. If striving in all things is giving ourselves generously through work, then our striving itself carries a sacred value. Let us now connect this to what a Catholic social teaching tells us about the dignity of our work and how it reveals our worth and purpose before God. Saint John Paul II, in his encyclical Laborem Exercens, again, walang quiz mamaya, ninyo kailangang isaulo, pero maganda kung familiar tayo. In that particular document, the Pope teaches us that while work allows people to earn their bread, its meaning goes far beyond simply earning a living. He writes that through work, people continue to contribute to the continual advancement of science and technology, and above all, to elevating unceasingly the cultural and moral level of society. Let's unpack 2 points from this part of the encyclical. Okay, first point. Through work, we contribute to the continual advance of science and technology. Advancing science and technology is crucial because it drives solutions to our global problems from climate change, health crisis, and poverty. New knowledge and innovation make life better, safer, and more sustainable for people everywhere. Sa ating bayan, sa bansa natin, advancing theology and systems is urgent to address long-standing issues such as poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment. This challenges us to see that our work contributes to progress, no matter how small or what is our role. Whether you design, clean, serve guests, manage systems, approve transactions, install solar panels, or build homes, your striving becomes a part of a larger force that moves society forward. Let me tell you a story about some of my students during their immersion with an urban poor community. In Ateneo, we send our students to immersion areas. And in this urban poor community, my students met Nanay Liza, a mother of 4 who sells vegetables in the morning, and then after, she tutors her children at home under an improvised solar light. Sabi ni Nanay Liza sa mga estudyante namin, hindi kami naghahanap ng marangyang buhay. Gusto lang namin ng maayos na kuryente, malinis na tubig, at ligtas na bahay. Gusto ko lang na habang tumatanda ako, makikita ko na ligtas ang mga anak ko at may kinabukasan sila. You know, this statement struck my students deeply. They reflect how it is possible for an area in Metro Manila not to be reached by electricity or water supply. I remember that I said to them something like this. Hindi eksaktong ganito, pero parang ganito. Sabi ko sa kanila, maybe we are not doing our work well. We have not tried very well. We did not strive. And then one of them responded to that statement saying, Sir, we always think of doing well through big progress like developing the next big application or gadget. But here in this area, kila Nanay Liza, a good electric source and a basic water supply is innovation. For the poor, access to basic needs by a work well done is already the future. This story reminds us that advancing science and technology isn't just about rockets or artificial intelligence. Alam ko familiar kayo dito sa AI. It's about striving to do well to respond to people's real lived needs, especially for the poor. Stories like that of Nanay Liza reminds us that progress is not always about grand gestures or massive breakthroughs. Often, it is built quietly in small innovations, in everyday dedication, in work done with purpose, whether it's developing new systems or simply showing up at work with integrity and care. Each contribution matters. This challenges us to see that our daily striving contributes to progress, as the Pope said in the encyclical, no matter how seemingly simple is our work. When we strive at work, that work can already change the life of others for the better. That work that we do for them can already be their future. Second point, the Pope says, through work, we help in elevating unceasingly the cultural and moral level of society. Alam nyo, without moral development, technological progress can become harmful. We see this in polluting industries, exploitative systems, corruption, and unjust use of power. The world needs people and companies who use progress with wisdom, justice, compassion, and integrity. When we are in that kind of company that is wise, compassionate, and justice-driven, we support that company. We strive in doing what we can to do to help that company so that it can contribute and continue its work and become a model and leader in development that is moral and just. I have another story. Alam ko, mahilig kayo dito eh. I want to tell you now about Anna. But this is not her real name due to sensitive reasons. Malalaman niyo mamaya kung bakit. Anna is a close friend of mine who chose to teach in a public school right after our master's degree graduation. We have a program in our department, master's. No? I graduated there. And I'm not saying this story and this situation nawala. It disappeared. Let me click, baka sakali. Ayun, alright. I'm not saying this story as saying this is true for all public schools, but I will let you be the judge of that. So, balik tayo kay Anna. Alam niyo si Anna, she went to a public school. She's still teaching there. She chose to teach in a public school, but she witnessed practices in that school that deeply troubled her. Funds being mishandled, grades being negotiated, and decisions made based not on what is right, but on connections and favor. As a new teacher, she was expected to just go along. But she didn't. She refused to sign fake reports, declined to play along with the politics, and held firmly to the values she had embraced as a person and as a graduate of Ateneo. Alam nyo, that decision came with a cost. Palagi kami nag-uusap. Madalas umiyak yun sa akin. Colleagues isolated her. She was skipped in opportunities. Meetings became cold. And her days grew heavily with silent resistance. I remember telling her, alam mo Ana, if it gets too much, you can always look for another school. But she replied, sabi niya, friend, kung lahat ng may paninindigan ay aalis, sinong maiiwan? And so she stayed. She bore the difficulties, not because she enjoyed the suffering, but because she believed something had to change. And that change required people to remain, not to run. Years passed, Anna endured, and in time, her perseverance bore fruit. She gained the respect of her students, the quiet admiration of a few silent peers, and eventually the attention of those who recognized her integrity. She was promoted slowly but steadily, and now she holds a leadership role in her school. She didn't waste time. She reformed what she saw was not right. She strived for years, and she was successful, even not fully, and even not easily. Anna's story reminds us that every action at work carries moral weight. How we treat clients, how we speak to our co-workers, how we manage finances, how we use resources, and how we uphold truth and fairness shape the moral fiber of our company and the greater society. Each of us has a role to strive to build a culture of integrity, care, and moral excellence. These 2 points from Laborem Exercens means that when we strive, particularly in work, we are not just fulfilling tasks or completing deadlines. We are participating in building our society and shaping the entire human community. And isn't that the work of Jesus Himself during His public ministry? Hindi ba't yun ang trabaho ng Diyos? Jesus worked to save people, their bodies and souls, from evil and suffering. But His work did not end with healing alone. He also elevated people's lives, restored their dignity, and called them to live with deeper moral purpose and love. When we realize that our striving are part of a larger mission for social transformation, we understand that striving in all things is not just a personal virtue. It is a calling. It is a vocation. We are called, tinatawag tayo, to strive. to persevere. Because what is at stake is not only our own success, but the hope of creating a better world, a future for others. Yes, there will be many struggles, disappointments, and obstacles. And perhaps we will not see the full fruits of our perseverance within our lifetime. Baka marami sa atin, marami magre-retire na pero hindi pa tapos yung mga pinagsusumikapan natin. Pero ganun talaga kasi matagal yung tunay na pagbabago. As our founder at John J. Carroll Ixie wisely said it, real change takes time. But even if it happens that we do not see or see fully the fruits of our work, we can be sure of this. When we strive, we cooperate and take part in the striving of Jesus for the coming of God's kingdom. Jesus gave His life for this work. He died on the cross fighting for people for a better society and world. God the Father raised Him from the dead. His resurrection is God's resounding affirmation that everything Jesus worked for was true, good, and worth it. Tama lahat at mabuti ang pinagsumikapan ni Jesus. When we choose to persevere in our work with courage, faith, and generosity, we share in that same mission, the mission of Jesus that transforms the world. Considering what I have shared with you about striving in all things, I think I want to say that striving in all things is ultimately about the heart. Would you agree? Hindi ko alam, pero tingin ko tungkol siya sa puso. In a basketball game, kung mahilig dito manood ng basketball, sumisigaw tayo di ba? Ano sinisigaw natin? Puso! Puso! We cheer our players. And then why do we say puso? Because we affirm that in that particular game, kahit di tayo naglalaro, we strive and encourage them to strive to win the game. I'm thinking striving in all things is about the heart. Puso. In his encyclical on the human and divine love of the heart of Jesus Christ, entitled Dilexit Nos, Pope Francis beautifully describes the heart as the deepest core of our humanity, the locus of our sincerity. So the heart is not just the place of our feelings, but the source of our intentions, our desires, and our actions. It is the place where we decide what truly matters and where we find the courage to persevere. Striving in all things is not merely about external perseverance or forced endurance. It is something very internal. Tayong mga Pinoy, we call this kalooban. That is why when we admire people who persevere in life, we say, grabe, ang lakas ng loob ng taong to. Grabe naman yung lalaking yon, ang lakas ng loob mangligaw sa kapatid ko. Grabe talaga yung tatay mo, ang lakas ng loob, ano? Buo ang loob niya. Matatag ang kalooban. Striving in all things is about having a heart that does not easily give up. Or better yet, a heart that does not give up at all. It is about having a heart like Jesus, who despite exhaustion, fear, and pain, did all he could to follow the will of God, the Father. His heart, his kalooban was anchored in love and trust. And that anchoring in love and trust gave him the strength to keep striving in all things, even to the cross. Gustong-gusto ko yung image ng Sacred Heart of Jesus. Kasi pinapakita yung puso. It's a heart that experiences pain. It has crowns of thorns. It is wounded. Yet despite this suffering, it is a heart that continues to shine, to give love, to strive in all things. May isang kwentong umiikot sa grade school ng Ateneo. May isang Jesuita na nakarinig daw sa dalawang grade school students na nag-uusap in front of the statue of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And then one kid asked the other, why is Jesus' heart outside of his chest? And the other kid said daw, because he can't keep it inside. It's very simple answer. Pero yun nga, no? Why is it outside? Because you can't keep it inside because it is so full, it is so generous, it is so self-giving that in spite it's broken, hurt, suffering, it is continuously giving for the service of others, for the service of God. And I'm just inspired because you celebrate your culture day every first Friday, tama? And what do we Catholics do every first Friday of the month? We remember and honor the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Today. So, when you want to get inspired and di ba, parang understand and continue to be reminded of what striving in all things mean, you look at the Sacred Heart of Jesus. That is the kind of heart we are called to imitate, to follow, to develop in us. And so for us, striving in all things is ultimately a matter of the heart, our kalooban. When our heart is rooted in love, when it is moved by God's will, and when it is anchored in faith, then our striving becomes more than work. It becomes an act of love, a mission, and an offering ad maiorem Dei gloriam. This leads us back to the prayer of generosity, and we pray this again as I end this sharing. Dearest Lord, teach me to be generous. Teach me to serve you as you deserve, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labor and not to ask for reward, save that of knowing that I am doing your will. Amen.